I got a couple of questions here. We'll do them first, and then we'll run the mics. I'll let you pick from the audience with people with questions. So, how do you acquire that strength of posturing and mindset that enables you to keep persuasion pushing through to the yes or to get to the fourth or fifth no's, as you suggest people do?
You just keep going. You honestly just keep going. It's not a trick. You just keep going with value. A lot of times the person wants to say yes, but their image is holding them back. So I always call it the 5-minute rule. Go 5 more minutes. If you're noticing you're getting close. Who asked the question, by the way?
Sandy Rutherford.
Hey, Sandy. So if you know your prospects right on that edge, okay, go 5 minutes longer in value. Get them to see where they want to go. Really plant that image. So when the problem that people have is they're worried about what they think the other person's thinking of them. You know, your job, remember what our job is, it's to help them. You're not helping them by letting them off the hook. If we understand that, okay, then if you just keep going deeper, said, you know, I understand what you're saying, and I could relate to it, but how long have you wanted to make this change? You know, and it's okay to keep asking the same question that you asked them 15 minutes ago. They're coming, you're getting them so close. This is where urgency comes. And I'd be like, Sandy, let me ask you this. You've been telling me you want to do this for 3 years. You're wanting to change. You want your own business, whatever it is. You want to write a book, okay? Whatever it is you want. Don't you think it's time to take the Band-Aid off and go for it? You know, and even if I would have used the Kenneth Blanchard quote that I've given you guys before, I'd say, Sandy, here's the deal. You're interested. And interested is not a good place to be. You have to be committed. There's a great quote by Dr. Kenneth Blanchard. There's a difference between being interested and being committed and so forth. And I say, now, are you up for doing this? Right away. You go right for the close right away after that overcoming at that part. So just go 5 minutes longer, and the best way to do it is just do it. You know, that's, even if you don't get it, you doing it is such a good thing for your image because you went further than you went the time before. So.
Okay, one more and then we'll go to the audience. What do you do if a person does not know what they want to do or how they want to live their life or what it looks like? They don't have a specific goal to work toward.
Most people don't know what they want. And most people will come in and tell you what they want, and that's not what they want. You know? So what I do is I say, you know, tell me what it is you want. Like you could tell Brian knew what he wanted when we were talking, okay? Like you could feel it. It was real because it's actually what he wants, okay? But if somebody doesn't know what they want, so tell me what you don't want. Well, I don't want this, I don't want that. Well, the opposite of that is what you want. And then you could say, let me ask you this. Let's say for a second, just get super relaxed, okay? Just relax. There's no pressure here. I want you to imagine it was impossible to fail. What would you like your life to look like a year from now? Forget about one specific thing. How do you want to live? And then that's how I get them into it. Then we discover their wants.
Okay, cool. So we got Bill at the end there. He's going to run a mic, and Danny's going to run a mic here for us. And Arash, I'll let you pick people from the audience, and they'll get the mic to you.
And Monica?
Hello?
There we go.
It's 2 questions. One you might not be able to answer today, but it would be if you would be able to do a simulation like that with this new existing woman that raised her kids, super intelligent, stopped to work, and doesn't need the money, but needs a life, needs a purpose. Now her kids are off, and so I get this. She doesn't really want, she wants to do charities, and so that I don't know if that's a different simulation. It's not about the money. And 2, when you get the objection, would be, it's not about the money, it's my husband's money. It's our money, but it's my husband's money. And so she can't spend that money.
Mm-hmm. So what I would do is say, how bad do you want to change? Forget about the money. You don't want the money. But what is it that I'd need to know what she really wants. I'd get her deeper into her wants first, okay? Even if she tells you surface, you got to get them deep. You got to get them really in their heart what they want and bring that out of them. And then I would say, does your husband support you? And I'd let her respond. And let's say she said yes. Well, your husband, if she said yes, I'd say, well, your husband would want you to be happy. Would you agree? And your happiness for my coaching of 6,250, where I could get you to really discover your purpose now. You know, you're at a different stage in your life where it's not about the money, it's about the purpose, and you waking up happy and excited. That's what I would do. I'd get her really into it. See, it doesn't matter whether it's a financial goal, whether it's a health goal, whether it's a self-esteem, or, you know, or if it's just somebody who's just stuck, they're lost, you know. You do the same process, it's just different value points, you know. So yeah, I mean, I could do a simulation another time, but yeah.
For your wording, to copy your wording.
Yeah.
Hi, Arash.
Hi.
My question is, I'm looking at the elite, average, and the rest. Do you ever encounter characteristics of potential clients that you just know wouldn't fit the bill?
Yes, of course. You know, somebody who doesn't have any desire, who doesn't have a good attitude. See, someone might have a bad attitude, but they have desire. They want something more. You can help. But the person that I'm not willing to help is somebody who has no desire, have a bad attitude because they're going to be really needy, you know? So, and I think the more you guys set boundaries for yourself, you're going to tell the universe what your ideal client is, and you're going to attract more of that. So I wouldn't just do it just to get a client, because it can be a painful experience. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Bill over there.
I'm just curious, when do you say no to them? Like,
I say no when it doesn't feel right.
so do you go like 5 minutes, or is it like?
Oh, no, it'll take longer than 5 minutes. I'll go through my presentation. Here's the thing. The more you go through the presentation, the more experience you get at it. So that's why I said embrace the failures. You know, they're not failures unless you give up, but embrace the no's, because the no's are going to get you to your yeses, you know. But I think it's great experience that you guys go through the whole presentation. You know, I think, I can't remember who I was talking to yesterday or today, and I said, find someone and team up, and when you guys leave here, and go through the sales presentations, you know. You guys aren't doing it real, but it's going to give you guys more confidence, because you gain confidence through experience. I think you can never do it enough. I told you guys I've done at least 25,000 of them, you know, and I'm so much better than I was a couple years ago, a year ago, you know. So the more you do it, the better you're going to get. The better you get, the more people you help. Bill, there's one back there who's been waiting.
Hi, Harash. Is there someone that has the style that you have, that does, because of the calmness that you have, is there someone here that might have that same style that you've trained, so we can see how maybe they can do it?
Brian does.
Okay.
I think Karen does too. I work closely with Karen. Last summer we made some changes, and how did that work out? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're always making changes, and I remember, do you mind if I share the story? So Karen called me, she said, I'm stuck, I'm doing the presentation, I'm doing this, but she wasn't getting them enrolled. And I said, let me hear your presentation. She goes, no, my presentation's good. And I said, let me listen to it. So we set up another call, and I listened to it. I said, your presentation's not good. I said, you're missing some key components that is making it from a good to a great presentation. How many did you get the next week? Do you remember? Yeah, 20 or 30 in a day. She called me. It's always the presentation, I'm telling you guys. You know, Karen was doing really well, so I can talk to her a different way, because we've been working together for so many years, and we have a very honest conversation, and she's so coachable. She says, I'm going to do this right away, and I say, text me when you get your first client. It was hours after she got her first client. Like, learn from her, because she implements, anytime she asks me for help, I always help her, and she implements it right away. So.
Hi, Arash.
Hey.
how would you answer when some people say, I can't make the decision now? I have to think about. I had some people who said, I made many bad decisions in the past because I made bad decisions. I invested some money, and I promised to myself that I will not do it again. So they decide already before that they will not make the decision. They want to think about. What would you answer?
That's a great question. There's so many facets to this. So the first thing I would do is say, now for the last, I don't know how long your presentations are, let's say 30, 45 minutes, we've been talking, and you really want this. Why would you, I just am curious, why would you make a promise to yourself and lose out on such an opportunity to change and really achieve what you want because of something that happened years ago? Or maybe it was last year. Let me ask you another question. Do you drive in reverse? So why are you living in reverse? Here's the thing. We have opportunities. We got to say yes to them. Say yes to every opportunity you get, and then say no if it doesn't feel right. See, you're saying no, even though you know I can help you. And that's what I would do. And when you say you can't make a decision, you're making a decision right there. So you got to understand, what do you think is going to be the best service for you? Do you think you're helping yourself by doing what you're doing right now? And that's what I would ask them. They say no. They'll know what you're saying is no. And use what I was doing earlier. Say, here's the deal. You know, whatever, I would use their name. I'd say, you know, I'm talking to you, so I'd say Vivian. I'd say, here's the honest to God truth. And I'm going to tell you something, and you might not like it, but I'm doing it to help you. Like, you want to preface it when you're about to be direct with them, okay? So they don't get offended. And you say, Vivian, you're going to spend the time anyway on whatever you spend it on. You're going to spend the money anyway. So you're spending the time and the money anyway. Now, the second thing, you've made decisions in the past that didn't work. You didn't work with me. You didn't work with my material and our material at the Proctor Gallagher Institute. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. Bob's been teaching this for over 50 years, studying it for 57. You see how you can get around it? You know, when I was talking earlier, when I said we want to be a couple steps ahead of the prospect, always be there so you can always overcome it with value. You see, I'm not overcoming it with facts and figures. I'm overcoming it with coaching. And if you guys do that throughout your presentations, and the newest person, you're going to get better at this by studying it. I remember when I first started, the first thing I would do, anything I'd study, I'd teach to my clients. Anything I study, I teach. You know, that's what I recommend you guys do.
Thank you.
Sure. Go ahead, Scott. Yeah.
If the person doesn't close, do you ever follow up, or do you make sure the call closes with a yes or no for sure?
No, I follow up. I mean, you know, you don't want to push somebody. You know, if you push them, you're going to lose them, and I wouldn't want to be pushed. So you want to do it effortlessly. You want to be honest with the people. But let's say it's a spousal, you know. There's people in this room. I mean, I didn't close, when I sold Martin, I didn't sell Martin on the first time I spoke with him, you know. But if I would have pushed Martin, he would have went the other way. And I would never do that anyway, but I would set up another call, you know. And then if the second call didn't close, I'd let them come back to me, you know. Always set up another call with a call to action, though. You know, make it a call to action, because if you don't have a call to action, they're going to drift away. And let them know, like, here's the thing. Let them know I can really help you. I really want to help you, and I know how I can help you. Like, when they're leaving, let them know that, you know. Send them some stuff afterwards that can help them. You know, you guys, I don't know what you guys have in place, but I'm sure there's something. But if you don't, like, you know, use the decision article from Bob, send them videos on YouTube. I mean, I'm sure you guys have a lot of resources. Sure.
So just following up on the scenario, so you've done 2 calls, you get no. Do you put them into a follow-up after that?
Mm-hmm. I put everyone in follow-up no matter what.
And do you ever reach out to them after that, or you leave it up to them to reach out to you?
Depends.
Depends.
You know, it depends on where my intuition's telling me. Some people I don't want to follow up with, you know, like they're not they're not a connection or they're not that nice and I don't want to work with them, you know? So some people I really wanted and I feel so bad and I'll be like, okay, how can I help them, you know? So I'll send them different things because they really just can't do it right now, you know? So, I mean, I've had people, once again, in this room, that was it, and I didn't give up. I don't give up on anybody who really wants it. If they have desire, you'll never see me give up on you. And I don't encourage you guys give up on anyone with desire.
Thanks, Rush. It's awesome.
Hey, Rash. Sorry, not over here. I've had a couple of prospects recently who, in the one-to-ones, they've gone really well, and they're, yep, I want to do it. And in both instances, it's been, one of them's kind of, I'm going to put the money through my business, though, so I've got a meeting with my accountant in a couple of weeks. Can we arrange a call, and we'll do it? Yep, great. And a second one where, you know, for the financing it for her, I'm going to start a new job at the end of the month, so I'll have the money then. And in both these instances, even though I've followed up, sent them the decision article, sent them, you know, they just seem to disappear on me. Is there, you know, in those instances, what do you try and get something from them that, like, go on, what do you?
Well, for sure. And first of all, you know, anyone who says they need to meet with an accountant, it's a stall tactic, okay? So let me give you guys some cues to really pay attention to. That's one of them. The second one is money's not the problem. Whenever someone says money's not the problem, it's always the problem, okay? I promise you. So if you guys hear that, just so be like, okay, just so you guys know what you're dealing with. What I would have done there, and I would have said, here, I understand you need to meet with your accountant. Well, what I need to do, because my coaching's going to be starting, you know, create urgency. My coaching's going to be starting, and I just need to get you set up. Like, how much can you invest right now? You know, because that's when they're emotionally involved. They're emotionally involved on that call. When they leave the call, then they're not. You know, I remember a couple years ago, we put an offer on this house, and it was a beautiful house. They didn't get back to me. Then they got back to me a few months later and said, okay, we're ready to negotiate. I wasn't emotionally involved anymore, so I didn't even want it. So think about you when you put yourself in their shoes, okay? When you're in it, okay, I want to make the change. You guys gotta capitalize at that point because their paradigm's going to come in and something new happen, or you don't even know. It could be somebody else called them and they ended up being better at their presentation than you and overcoming that, so they could have been there. So that's what I would recommend.
So in that instance, if you're saying, okay, so what can you put down now, and it's less than the deposit that you would normally demand or expect from them, would you accept that and then get them started? What would you do there?
It depends situational, you know. Like, I've taken low deposits in here when I trusted somebody, and then I put a plan together when they had it, you know. So I'm more on the belief of trusting people until they give me reason not to help them, you know, because you can help somebody. And, like, for example, let's say you took, you know, $1,000 down. Okay, let's just make it up. And she ended up being a client for yours, or he ended up being a client for you for 3 years. Well, if you look at their start, it was only 1,000, but now look at it. Now look at it a different way. Let's say you took the 1,000, you tell them it's non-negotiable, like, I'm not giving it back if you don't, you know, that's our deal. But it's 1,000 and they never get back to you again. You didn't lose anything. I'd rather believe in the possibility for them, because most of these people don't have people who think like you guys think, okay? If you can open the space for them and let them walk through the door, that's what our job is. That's what our purpose is. We can't guarantee anything, you know? Like, I can guarantee what I'm going to do, but I can't guarantee what you're going to do. So that's what I would do.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Arash. Hey, Arash.
Hey.
Hello. I have a question in the presentation that you were doing with Brian, because obviously he is very intellectual, and he gave you the $1 million. And a lot of times you say, look for triggers. People will give you what they want. And he actually said that the purpose of the $1 billion was something that was a big impact that he could have on the world. And he needed the $1 billion to do it. And so is there a particular reason that you stayed on the $1 billion and didn't go to that deeper reason that could have gotten him even more emotionally connected, since he's very intellectual?
I didn't think I needed to. So I do it based on what I think I need. So I keep stuff in my back pocket. So if you notice at the end of the presentation, I started using more about his impact. So I brought that in, and the reason I brought it in at the end is I could have used that if I needed to overcome more objections. So you don't want to use all your tools at once. You got to keep them in your back pocket. So that's why I did that.
That is awesome. Thank you.
Hey. Hi, Arash, it's me.
Hey.
So you know that I can be persistent. Sometimes I don't get to my yes until the 4th or 5th encounter with someone. But sometimes I feel like, well, they're ghosting me. At what point do I stop and just not put any more energy after the second meeting and they delay or say no, or, do I let it go and just keep focused on the new and keep, because I know I can help them.
Well, you got to understand, and this is your challenge that we've spoken about. They have to want to be helped. Okay, I want you guys to hear that. They have to be, like, you guys all wanted to be helped. That's why we've helped you. That's why you're here. Okay.
So should I articulate that for them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm only here if you want me to help you, and you've already.
Well, at this point, I mean, I would say I can really help you. First of all, number one, how serious are you to be helped? Like, if I feel someone's not, I'll ask them, how serious are you to be helped? Well, yeah, I'm very serious, or I'm not sure. Okay, let's find out. If they say I'm not sure, I'm okay with that. But let me find out. Let me take them deeper. Let me tell them why they need to be helped. We got to find the motive. I think where you want to connect with them is, you might want to observe this from your past presentations that you do did I connect with their motive? Did I show them how to fulfill their need? Because if it's me and there's somebody who wants to help that doesn't move forward, that's my fault. I feel like I didn't give enough value. I didn't do my job if I didn't get them over the hump. They're coming to me saying they want the help. They're telling me, and if they're not doing it, then that's on me. That's where I need to improve, and that's what I focus on.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hi.
Hi.
Could you share a little bit about the day when you activated your very first client?
Well, when I enrolled my first client, it was about 8 years ago. I did it the first day. When I got my opportunity, I was telling in our meeting, I'm doing a meeting with my sales team, I got an opportunity to partner up with Bob, and when I did it, I remember calling my wife and I said, oh, we just hit a home run. This is going to bring my two skills together. So I had so much belief I could do it, even though I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And I didn't have a formatted system like you guys have. I was just winging it. And literally, my first call, I enrolled them in our 13-month coaching program, and then from there, it just took off. But you guys are so set up, you have no idea. Like, I remember what this consulting looked like. I think Corey and Doug have done a phenomenal job. Tracy, because I know what it was like before, and you guys just need to use the tools. One of the things I tell the clients who come, I'm like, if you're working with me, I always help you if you come to me, is the training's there. You just got to use it. The training's there. The community's there. What some of the consultants do is they use it as a crutch, or they'll say, oh, I need this. You guys have everything you need inside of you. That's what I had. So going back to your question, like, I had it inside of me. I just needed that decision to be like, okay, I remember exactly where I was when I said it too, like, it was such an emotional impact. It was like I knew that I knew that I knew. That's why I want you guys to leave here that you know that you know that you know that you're set up. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Sure.
Hi, Raj. You asked us to remind you had some tools you were going to share.
Yeah, so the tools, U Squared was one of them, okay? You guys probably have the decision article. I use Think and Grow Rich. I use the quote from Dr. Kenneth Blanchard. These are things you want to use in your presentation, okay? And if you go study mine, you'll see me constantly be talking about them and using them, So I'm using them as value points, and I'll tell people, like, you don't need to be an expert at this. You'd be like, I'm going to read something to you, and I want you to see this, okay? Like, I would keep this with you everywhere you go and highlight them. You know, like, keep a file that says, okay, when Hill says 500 are the most successful people, like, you got to get that ingrained in you. That's got to be a part of you. You know, that's why the more you guys study, the more you'll tap into. Like, I tap into stuff I studied 8 years ago. I don't know, it just comes out because I've been studying for so long. That's why you want to continue studying. So that's what I was talking about. Sure.
I have 2 questions, Arash.
Sure.
And the first one, what if people that you spoke to and you want to follow up with them, let's say a month or 2 months after they don't pick up the phone or they don't actually respond to messages? At which point do you just say, that's fine? And the second one is, what is your ritual to actually accept the price very fast, the new price?
Sure. The first question, it's all intuition for me. When I don't want to feel like I'm bothering people or like I'm a pain, I'm like, I feel like that's when, if you ever do that, or if I've ever done that, I'll speak of myself, because I've done it in the past, you know, it's when I'm not right. I'm coming from lack and limitation, so I'm going to attract more of what I don't want, okay? So if you've done it, stop. You know, I'll tell you that. The second question, when I accepted the price, it's pretty simple. You just make a decision. This is what it is from now on. You don't even look back. I promise you guys, the price, I know it's a sticking point for you guys. There's no difference for some of you. There's no difference between $6,250 and $5,000. You know, we increased our consulting. It used to be 18.5, now it's 30,000, okay? Well, guess what? There's consultants coming, you know? It wasn't my idea. It's just what it is. You accept the price. Bob changed it, you change it. And I'm telling you, the price, you guys are going to laugh about this. It's actually a really good learning lesson, because it was a really good learning lesson for me. I shared the story with you guys. It was a great learning lesson. It made me grow right away like this. It was like, okay, I'm done. I don't even know 5,000. That's what you guys got to think about. I don't even know 5,000. You know, I only know 6,250. Now, you guys might want to, I don't know what Bob said, but you guys might want to honor that price for if you've already quoted somebody, you know, that you're working with. I would do that if it was me, but I'm not sure what you guys decided on that. But with the price, I promise you, let me ask you something. Do you think, if I was to get coached by you, Eva, do you think it's worth $6,250? Okay, then accept it. That's it.
It's I suppose, my belief on the type of people that I've been attracting, so that's the belief that I need to change.
So you're letting the circumstances control you. Yeah. So change that. So what do you want? What's your goal?
Of course, the diamond pin.
That's your main goal? Okay. So you want to start thinking like the person who has a diamond pin.
Well, then that's not a problem then.
Okay, that's what you want to do. Start thinking like that person. That's what you want to
thank
do.
you.
Hey, Rash, yet another time, great presentation, thank you. You talked about drawing the energetic boundary of who we want to accept as a client. This is not to say we're better or worse than anybody, but you're just setting boundaries. So I said, I want to work with people that are driven, full of desire, and decisive. And that's truly helping me. But then in that case, how do you really make a call on somebody who is full of desire and is driven as well, but is not decisive? Then in that case, do you just eliminate?
No, never. No, first of all, my only criteria is desire. Because I've helped people who have earned $15,000 a year, who are now crushing it, okay? And that's what they wanted, was a financial gain. And if I would have cut them off, okay, and I don't know where they'd be. So no, the only criteria I have for me, I mean, you guys can create your own criteria, is desire. I believe with every cell in my body, I can help anyone with desire. That's what I truly believe. So that's what I would do.
And so if people are not that decisive, you would just maybe
I got to coach them into it. Like, the decisiveness is on me. Like, I got to get them through to make that decision. If someone's not making a decision, I take it that I didn't do enough to get them to move. So don't put it on them, put them on you. There's a quote, and I'm not saying the quote right. It's from W. Clement Stone. He says, it's never the prospect's fault. It's always the salesperson's. Okay? Take responsibility, because we can only control what we do. I can't control what you do. I can only control what I do. So when you say they're not decisive, what I'm hearing just from my perspective, my awareness is you want to maybe look at improving and how to overcome the objection and get them maybe more urgency on acting on it. Okay? That's what I would focus on if I were you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Here's now, before I came to you and prices change right up, I will work with it. So when I go back or I call from here, they say, oh, it was 5,000. What should I answer them? Now I say 7,000 or 62.50.
Well, I think you guys have to decide that for yourself. I mean, if you've offered 5,000, I think you need to honor it.
I talked to them before I came here, and I'm thinking I'm going back and I'm going to talk to them, and I'm going to say now 62.50. They say, oh, you was talking about 5,000.
I mean, what I'd probably do is create a deadline. This is exactly what I do. I'd say the price is going up. Today's May 15th. The price is going up June 1st. And you have until, I probably would not do June 1st. Make them get in action. The price is going up by Friday at 12 Eastern, or wherever you live, in Nebraska, right? So 12 o'clock Central. And this is it, and you got to act on it. Are you ready to do it now? Because here's the thing. You've been waiting, and if you wait another day, what's going to change? You wait another week, what's going to change? You just ended up costing yourself extra money. So that's what I would do.
Hi. So, Arash, there's a law of vibration, a law of attraction, right? So if we get into our subconscious minds that we close everybody and that it's easy and that they're ready and they've got the money and, no need for objections, we can't do that, right? Because I don't have much time right now. I have a little baby. I want to spend more time with her than than talking to people that are not ready.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't come from that point of view either, because then when you're talking to people, you're devaluing them. You're saying this person's not ready. You're prejudging. A lot of times you won't know till someone's ready until you do a full presentation.
No, but I attract what I put out, right? So can I just put out
You put out whatever you want. You get to put out. It's going to come back like a boomerang. My only point was make sure, and I understand you have a baby, maybe the hours you're using, say these are the hours that I'm going to do calls, but make sure every person you're in contact with, whether they can do it or not, you're leaving them better off, because when you're talking about putting out, it may take time to shift that in your paradigm to have that as your dominating thought.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So how much, the ratio of study and putting stuff into your subconscious mind to action, what would you say?
I couldn't give you a time on how long it'll take.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, if you had, let's say 8 hours, how many hours would you study? How many hours would you be working? So,
I mean, for me, I study an hour a day, and then I do work the rest of the day. My life is very balanced. I don't wake up and study. I wake up and go to the gym. That's my deal. I play with my kids, talk to my wife, go to the gym. That's the first thing I do. I don't even look at an email until 9 o'clock. I am very, first of all, if anyone emails me, I don't respond. So I don't look at emails. But I don't do anything work related till 9 o'clock. So I make it based on, you need to make it based on your body rhythm and what you want and how you want to live. And that's what I've always done. But I always study an hour. I don't do more than an hour. People who study too much, they don't get into action, so their results can't change.
Okay.
Sure.
Can you tell us about your day? How does your day look like typically?
Sure. I wake up at 6. I do a meditation, and then I do gratitude. And then I go to the gym. I come back. I'll talk to somebody on my team to see how I can help them. Then I'll run my appointments. I usually have anywhere between 4 to 7 appointments. And then I'll do a training on Mondays and Wednesdays, a mindset training and a sales training on Wednesday. And then I'm done every day by 5 no matter what. And then I play with my kids, watch the Yankees game right now. That's what I do. I totally decompress. So when work's done, it's my kids, my family, and my hobbies. That's what I do. And I won't even think about work again till the next day. It doesn't matter.
Hey, Rosh.
Hey.
For me, I was doing your sales simulation for a long time, like the way you do it with Arash or with Chris, and I felt that I was banging my head against the wall because it was just like getting into the call or getting into the meeting, and it was just like, what do you do? What's your goals at? And I found that it wasn't really working out for me the way that I was watching it. I wrote out your script. I found that if I started to have more fun with the person and met them where they were at, that I could lower the walls and I could become more about myself. I became more of me. And in the last couple of weeks that I found that I'm getting more results from that. What's your way of lowering the walls, or do you have a professional?
I think you should have fun, number one. Number one, if you're not having fun, this will be miserable for you. You want to have fun all the time. Like, I have never told anyone to be me or say what I say. This is what I know. This is me, you know. But if you're ever around me or people I work with, we have a lot of fun, you know, and I have fun with clients. I look at Rachel because I'm recently working with her and I'm joking with her all the time, you know. So I think you need to joke and have fun. The way I lower the walls is I match their physiology, okay? If somebody's quiet, really quiet, then I'll be calmer. You know, if somebody's really intense, then I'll match their intensity, you know. If somebody tells me about their kids, I'll talk about my kids and relate it to that. So you find a commonality with people, and that's how you make the connection, okay? And it's good that you're course correcting what you were doing to what you're doing now. So you're going to constantly have to course correct. You're course correcting within the presentation, you know, because let's look at this for a second. Let's say I'm doing the presentation, I'm following it, and I really don't feel like one of the parts that I did well. I'm not like panicking. I'll be like, I'll ask a question to let them talk, and then I'll go back to myself. I go, I got to give more value. So I'll go back up to step 3 and give more value. Or if I'm like on that, I call when you're overcoming objections over there, that you're playing ping pong with the prospect or the client, right? They're saying something, you're having to overcome. They have another overcome, you got to overcome. So then I'm using urgency. I'm like, okay, I got to overcome this objection with more urgency, you know? So you can really use this to create order for yourself and really go back and not be pressured and be like, oh my God, I've already passed that step. I don't know what to do. Just relax with it and have fun. Like, the best results you guys are all going to create is when you're relaxed, when you're calm. If you're jittery, if you're nervous, they're going to feel it. You know, we're communicating from our gestures, our words, and we're communicating invisibly. You know, like right now, you and I are communicating invisibly. So you're feeling what I'm telling you, is whether it's true for you or not, you'll know. You know, I always tell clients this, that the truth will always you'll know the truth because it'll always resonate with the essence of who we are. So you'll know whether I'm telling you that. I encourage you guys to write this down. The truth, you'll always know the truth because it will resonate with the essence of who you are. So if you say this to them, you'll know if I'm telling you the truth, whether I can help you or not. You know, say, because you'll know if it feels right. If it doesn't feel right, I don't want you to do it. And tell them that. There's nothing wrong with that. Sure.
Thank you very much, Arash.
Sure.
I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because I noticed you doing that with your arm draped over the chair while Brian's arm was draped over the chair. Being in clinical hypnotherapy, that is something that we use quite often with our clients, is that subconscious rapport, that the body language thing. So thank you for mentioning that.
Sure.
My question is more around, how do you feel about it when somebody purchases the program for somebody else? Because I recently turned down a client because the father was purchasing the program for his son, who was in his early 20s, doesn't matter what age you are, but the son wasn't getting back to me when I was reaching out to him, and then finally the son got back to me and said, oh, yeah, my dad wanted me to call you.
Mm-hmm.
I turned it. So what's your thoughts on that?
Not great. I mean, I don't think if somebody doesn't have skin in the game that they're going to do the work. So that's why people will ask me, well, do you guys have scholarships? And I said no, because it's not fair to the people who actually put skin in the game. And if you don't have skin in the game, you're not going to win. It's just, you know, I told Scott that, you know, and now look at you. Honestly, if you didn't put skin in the game, like, where would you be? Would you agree? Yeah. Make sure they put skin in the game. And it's, if they don't, I promise you, they're not going to be fully invested.
You have a question?
Hi, Arash.
Hi, Tim.
I challenged a few friends of mine, their paradigms, and I want to visit them back. So, and most of them like didn't want to talk to me.
Uh-huh.
So, follow up. How do I really get them engaged again?
Well, how did you challenge them?
Well, I say, you know, your belief is, I don't know, you know, after the Matrix, they're gone chaotic.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have done that, you know. So you want to get them, you want to ask questions. Get into the question of what is it that you really want? You could have said, listen, I just got back from Matrix, and it blew my mind. I'm so excited about what's going to happen in my life. I want to see if you have a couple minutes to spend with me so I can help you and just share my experience with you. Then you could actually open them up to it, you know? Yeah. So you could try it again. They might be closed off, though. You know, but that's how, if you're going to do it this time, that's what I would do.
Yeah. And you mentioned that some of them you don't want to follow up. So at what point you don't want to follow up? I mean, you're just going to let it go on stale? Or?
And, you know, like I told whoever asked that before, it was just based on my intuition. Like, if they don't have desire, they're not getting back to me. I mean, I'd rather spend my time working with people that want to get help.
Hi, Arash. How are you?
Hey, Karen. How are you?
Good. I'm working on a new model, which you know about, of selling from the stage, and that's going well. How might I change my follow-up for those who absolutely, they're not going to close there on the day, but they do want to talk? Is there a slightly different technique that I would use after someone has actually come to an event to then close them? And second question also, if I'm in the room and they just want to have a quick 15-minute chat, what might be the what I'd really hone in on to ensure I do close that sale on that particular day? For example, they haven't just come and handed the form in without any other. So 2 scenarios, please.
Sure. The first question is, you don't have to talk about the value. You already built the value in your talk. So you could skip that. You don't have to do the introduction because they know you. Okay, so take those 2 out. I would do, like if it was me, and I'd say, Karen, what is it? What's your goal? What are you looking to achieve? I'd find out their goal, and I'd say, listen, you just heard me for the last 2 hours. I can really help you. You just got to do what I tell you to do. And if you'll do what I tell you, I can promise you that I will show you how to create massive results. Now, are you up for doing this? They've already had the emotional impact with you. So what you can eliminate a lot of the steps because you've already done those steps in your presentation. And I would use some of the things. Say, you know, this is exactly what I was talking about when I was speaking a few minutes ago. You remember when I said this? Then you could say that. But I could tell you, if you walk away from here, I've been doing this for a long time. The people who walk away, those are the people who never move. That's what I would do.
Okay, and then if it's, I don't really want to keep doing this, but if it's a definite, like tomorrow kind of conversation, I want to meet for coffee, well, won't be for coffee, but on the phone, similar thing, just do the same sort of thing. Just tell me what your goal is and we'll talk about it.
You might have to go deeper because they went to sleep now, and now their paradigm came back. Okay. But I would try it the same way, but you might have to go back, you know? So it's kind of like what I was talking about. You can go through it, then you can go back. Then you might be like, okay, I need to do a regular strategy session with them, you know?
Okay, and that would be, in terms of that quick follow-up, just a very simple way I could train my team in the room to actually close those people for me when they're asking those questions at the back of the room.
Ask me the question one more time.
So when you said they're coming up and they're saying, well, hang on a second, like, what's your goal? That actually could be my assistant
Yes.
or my sales team at the back of the room doing that for me.
Yeah, I mean, if you have time, do it, because it's coming from your presence is
Okay.
going to be different. So
Yes.
if you have time, say, tell your team, say, if somebody's really, come grab me. It'll make them feel special.
Yeah, okay, great. That's good.
So-
Thanks, Rush.
Sure.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you. Hang on. One more. Hang on. Sorry. Before we, I have one more question for Arash, if you don't mind. You guys can stand or sit, but sit down, relax. Arash, this has been so good. And we wanted to put this together as not only an opportunity for you here in the room, but for people that are at home and for a future training video on the membership area. So how do you want to wrap this up and bring it in for Lenny? What do you want to leave people with? What are your sort of closing thoughts or remarks on this and what you've taught them today?
Yeah, so whether you're at home or here, I will tell you guys this. If I can do what I'm doing now, you guys can too. Like, I didn't know any of this. I did it through just failing, through, you guys have a system. And I will tell you this, and Doug and Bob will probably tell you this before you leave. Make a decision by the next training that you're going to be on that inner circle. I know a bunch of you who've been here and grabbed me and say, I really want to be on inner circle. Make the decision for the inner circle for you. Show yourself what you're capable of and be your own personal best. That's what I've done. Everything is about me. I'm super competitive. But I'm not competing against anyone but me. I'm competing against what I did last week, last month, last year. That's what motivates me. I was telling my team today, dissatisfaction is my biggest motivator. Like if I am not doing what I deem productive, like it bothers me. Like I don't get emotional. I don't emotionalize what I don't want, but it bothers me where it's like, okay, what am I doing? What am I not doing? So you guys have everything, and I promise you, you guys are going to win in a big way by doing this. Like I talked to the people who were at the last training, and like Farida, I looked at you and you made inner circle. So use her as an example. She was somebody who wasn't in inner circle, and now she is for all of you. And really think about why you're doing this. Okay, you're not doing it to be in inner circle. You're doing it to help people. You're doing it to live your purpose. You're doing it to really wake up every day and really enjoy what you're doing. So that's what I would recommend.
All right, give him a hand.
Thank you.